You are listening to the Cigar Noise Boys. You know the words to my songs. No habla inglés. Our conversations ain't long.
I don't. Shaggy.
No.
Cannibal Corpse.
Talk Dirty by Jason Derulo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What's up, Cigar Noise Boys? Dom Tyler on with Jason, not Derulo, but Jackson. Thanks for joining.
JJ.
We're on the street is that this is the first podcast you've joined, cigar podcast. Is that true?
It is. Yeah, that's true.
Wow. And I've heard you were offered the chance to join other ones first.
I
But,
was.
we appreciate you being on.
Yeah, you guys won. I don't know
Well,
what you win.
We win you.
You're welcome.
Exclusive. Yeah. So Yogi asked a question about Jason missing the Cigar Hustler call. There was a
Who?
meeting going on.
Who are they?
The Cigar Hustler, number one.
Tyler, who's your
Yeah.
favorite mic in the cigar industry?
Rosales.
Good answer.
Well,
Nice.
or you could say Skip. That's his first name, real name, or Mike and Mike. I don't know. There's a lot of mics out there.
A lot of mics.
So what's up? We haven't been podcasting in like 3 years now.
Yeah. I messed up my schedule. I was working PMs, and then you've been busy getting ready for the baby, getting ready with work and everything, and so yeah. But yeah. So we got Jason on. He is the newest dude here at RoMa. He was scouted out and by Mike, and yeah, I've gotten to know him over the. When did you start here? When did you move to Austin? I mean,
Probably it's probably almost 2 months now. Probably almost 2 months. And there wasn't much time in between them basically kind of, coming to me. And so I kind of go back with those guys a long way. So it's not like, we didn't know each other. I was kind of a OG RoMa guy. But yeah, so we kind of kept in touch, and me and Mike used to kind of talk a lot of shop, things that are going on in the territory, just keep in touch with each other. We probably talked about about every month, maybe once every 2-3 months, and just kind of kept in touch over the years, because I was with Altadis for 8 years. So
which is like 20 years in cigar industry time.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So.
And then before that, you worked. You managed a cigar shop.
Yeah, I managed a couple of cigar shops in Birmingham, Alabama. They're all owned by the same guy, so it's all under the Cigars and More family. One was Cigars and More in Hoover, and the other one was Vitola Fine Cigars in Mountain Brook. So it's kind of like the bougie area of Birmingham.
If you moved to Texas 2 months ago, were you able to experience the heat of the summers?
Yes. Okay. So, and being that I am a born Floridian and, lived in Alabama since like 2001, I'm not shy or, I'm familiar with heat, right? But Texas is hot, but the humidity wasn't it doesn't, I don't want to say it's not as bad, right? I don't want to say that, but it's like, it's a different type of heat. Alabama, it can be like almost 100, but the humidity is like 90 something percent. So it's like, you're just like sticky, gross.
Not ideal.
not ideal, but I spent some nights over at Mike's out on the patio, and he's got like this huge fan going on behind us. And it's like, is this thing working, or is it just blowing like hot air up my back? Because it's like, I don't, so it is different types of heat. But it just seems like you guys have like Texas seems to have like a shorter winter than where I'm from.
Yeah, and
So
then
it's
also
the moral of the story is it's hot in both damn places, right? It's just like, who likes the heat, right?
yeah, and now you get to work in an air conditioned office instead of going. That's the thing
Yeah.
about when you're driving around in it and it's 100 degrees and you're smoking a cigar. It is miserable because you need to have the window open, and then you have the air conditioner blasting at full speed and you got smoke blowing everywhere.
Tyler,
It's
why do you need to have the window open?
to let some of the smoke out
Because you're smoking a
especially Mike.
cigar. So
Yeah.
if it's 110 degrees, I say just, run the AC and wait.
No,
That's what I would do.
because me and Mike, we've driven to Dallas together a few times, I think, and yeah, Mike needs the window down. He doesn't. Where I'm used to, the first cigar shop I worked at, the ventilation was bad, so I was used to being in a cloud of smoke. But
Yeah, I've been there. I have been there, Tyler. One of my shops was kind of like that. It's just like, ridiculous, amount of, it needed to be ventilated better, slightly better, right? So, it's okay after a couple hours, but then when you're 6 hours or 7 hours in your shift and you're like, like your eyes are like starting to swell shut, and
well, I work outside, and then it's about 10 degrees warmer on the tarmac. So it's bad, but it's weird because it seems to be like really only hot from like about 1 o'clock to like 7. Like it's nice up until about noon, and then it kind of starts turning for the worst. And then once the sun goes down, it'll still be 90 degrees, but you can be outside smoking a cigar. Um, yeah, but I'm from Wisconsin, so it was a big change when I moved down here.
yeah, you
And
got a antifreeze in your blood, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Fireball
kind
in
of
the
grew
And
up
then,
in
go on.
I said fireball in the veins.
yeah,
Antifreeze.
yeah. He comes from the land of cheese and beer.
Hmm.
All right. Hey,
Cheese curds.
Mike posted, I don't know, last night or 2 nights ago, 3 favorite RoMa Craft cigars. Jason, I didn't see what you commented. I believe he was talking with you before he posted, and that's why he kind of did it.
Well,
Tyler, I saw your post, and you posted 6, not 3. So
I did
use your
different.
fingers to count.
Okay. Hear me out. I did Coraline and Ellie, and then actually I sparked that conversation at headquarters on, was that Tuesday night, I think? Yeah, Tuesday night we were
Yeah.
talking about it.
All right. Credit points to Tyler. I'll send you a
Yes,
sticker
please.
in the mail.
Thank you.
What were your cigars though? What'd you guys pick?
Oh my gosh. I can't even remember what I said. Why do you want to put me on the spot like that, man? You're supposed to give me notes before the podcast starts, so that way I
Where
can
we're
go back
going,
to
we
my
don't need
talking
notes.
points.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I'll go so you can think about it. So I did the Aquitaine Mandible, the Volstead. I like the Bell Livingston, and then the Neanderthal HN. And then for my LEs, I did Craft 2022. I did Genetic Deformity, and I did the Casa Torres for my LEs.
I'm gonna say it was probably going to be Neanderthal HN. It was probably Aquitaine EMH, and then probably the Volstead. I'm kind of a big fan of the Noble Experiment. because it's an LE, I might have said Olmsted instead, but the Izzy's a little awesome little size too. The Izzy is winning me over. Like that thing, and I'll tell you what. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this. It's like all Volstead because I'm really liking the Remus a lot,
Yeah, me too.
and they're all like fighting each other for the number one spot in Volstead. But that just goes to show you how good that cigar is, right? I mean, it's like when you can't decide, like there's like 4 sizes, and you're like, man, this is hard. You know, just goes to show you how good it is. I mean, it's such a I mean, it's become like outside of Neanderthal, it is my favorite RoMa Craft cigar. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, and it almost feels like it's too new for me to even say that. Like, why do I feel like that's the wrong thing to say? Like, Volstead is like my second, it's just like
Yeah.
it
I- and
sounds funny when you say it, but it is
feels
so
it
good.
feels like you're being subjective because of recency bias. But then you
Right,
smoke
yeah.
another one and it's
Dude, it's
they
such
are
a
great.
great,
And then
it's
piggybacking off like your favorite size of Volstead, I guess it kind of depends on what's in stock because it seems to be selling so quick that you kind of have to the one you smoke is just whatever they have in stock. I've been to a few different shops and they've had every size, but they're all sold out. So there'll be like 1 or 2 sizes left. So it's kind of like my favorite Volstead is whatever's in stock, I guess, because
and you can't go wrong. I mean, that's the thing.
no,
It's like it's such a good stick, man. Skip really hit it out of the park with that, man. I mean, it just hits such a broad range of smokers too. You can be a guy who doesn't smoke a ton and smoke that cigar, and it's not too in your face. It's not spicy. But you can also be a seasoned guy and smoke a lot of cigars and smoke that stick and be like, man, this is really good. So it just hits, like I said, it just hits a broad range of smokers. And I mean, I can go on and on about it. I won't, but I could.
I was
But
given
they really did a good job on it.
a Volstead sampler from Brandon bringing the pain, and I haven't gone through it yet to see which size I prefer. But on my list of 3, I put the George Remus Volstead, Craft 21, and the BA Revenge.
Oh, look
box
at
press.
you.
So I think
like
all
that
3
BA
of us
Revenge answer.
had different answers, even with Tyler's list of 6.
mhm.
Baby Grande.
the kind of forgotten brand is Baca.
Yeah.
Baca Jengi is up there too, but you can only have so many. So
It really is. What's funny is I hate to say it because I, work for RoMa now, but I never got into the Baca small sizes
mhm.
until I started working here. And then I've dug into they're essentially, segundos, but they're like little pygmies and things like that, some of the smaller ranges. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like these things are so good, man.
Yeah, I prefer it in the bigger ring gauge on the Baca.
Grand Perfecto.
Yeah, Grand
I like it.
Perfecto is really good. I haven't tried the Grand Perfecto in the Volstead yet. That was I forgot what Mike said, but there wasn't that many made.
I haven't had that cigar yet. So, I mean, I work for RoMa, and I know Tyler smoked more RoMa. Like I said, I was out in the desert working for Altadis for 8 years. So, my RoMa smoking had went down significantly when I was repping the Southeast for Altadis. So
We'll have to ask Alex what he thinks of, or what happened with the Volstead Grand Perfecto.
What do you mean?
Also, what he thinks. I'm sure he's smoked them.
Oh, Alex Benchwork?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah. I had a question for Jason. I just fucking forgot it. Oh, damn it. It had to do with. Oh, all right. Fuck Mary Kill. Be so horny, lightweight heavy, or the no no.
Ah, oh boy, man, this is.
No, you don't have to do that. That you can't. Don't do
Thank
that.
you, thank you
No, you.
so much. My God, I was starting to sweat. I started feeling like little beads of sweat come up on top of my head. I was like, because you don't
I,
want to tell
yeah.
you don't want to tell lightweight heavy you want to fuck him because he is like 4 times bigger than me. So
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
speaking
not
of
only
good.
that,
since you moved in, Jason, Tyler, who can squat more? Because I know you're trying to work up the Roma powerlifting rankings.
well, John stopped cut weight instead of so John lost like 50 pounds.
Did you
So
ever go to a lift off with him?
no, but one time at Mike's house, Mike had a squat machine and they didn't think I could do it, and they put a couple 45s on each side, and I did it. Almost split my shorts, but I did it.
I'm
Yeah.
built for speed, okay? I'm built for speed, not squatting or lifting anything. Just so everybody knows. Like uh, winning lifting awards, but I'll get there faster than anybody. Yeah.
All right, Tyler, just so
So
you're aware.
what's everybody smoking?
Well, that's a good question. I'll just say we just had our first Wi-Fi glitch on my end. Jason, my
Oh, for
Wi-Fi
real? I didn't
sucks.
notice.
I forgive you.
Tyler, you talk about what you're smoking because I'm not. I'm home. I'm not allowed to
I'm
smoke in the
smoking.
backyard.
Yeah. He's in. So Jason, he's in Kami, California. And
Okay.
West Coast, Best Coast.
do you live
Comic.
in a duplex, or what do you live in?
No, it's a grandmother unit. So it's
So
attached to the main house, but it's in the back.
how many rooms is it?
2,
How much do you pay?
Oh.
21.
Ooh.
21. Will you do something for me? Uh, okay. Yeah. So he can't. I don't think you can't smoke out back, right?
No, but I need to do like 1 or 2 more blind reviews, so I might just go stand by my car.
Do it in your car. I thought you smoked in your. Or not? No,
I
no, it's
used to. I
baby.
haven't done it in a while. Yeah.
All right. Jason doesn't smoke in his car either, but Jason doesn't
I
smoke that much.
that's what. Yeah, I know. Skip likes to bust my balls because I only smoke like 1 or 2 cigars a day,
Well, you're
and
busy. You're busy working.
right. He tosses cigars over here. He's been tossing me these Standard and Twain packs. Um, so he's been, busting my balls because I haven't went through the first pack, and so I finished up the first pack today. So it was like Matilda was the first cigar. Second was the Oliva V, which honestly didn't even taste like an Oliva V. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, but that was, even after you know what it is and you smoke it, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Standard and Twain packs, but it's kind of like a blind tasting subscription pack thing that Skip has really gotten into.
Yeah, I know
So
them from Skip's posts about them.
yeah, there you go. So that's the only reason I know them. And so Skip's throwing them at me, and it's a cool thing, right? So today I smoked the other 2, and the first one was oh gosh, what was it, Tyler?
Was
The
it that the
Segovias.
yeah from Art Garcia?
Yeah, that one, and then the other one was surprisingly the Rose of Sharon, my Southern Draw, which I haven't smoked in a long time, and I was pretty impressed by it because I am not a Connecticut guy
That's a good
at
Connecticut. Yeah.
all. It really is, man. But the Segovias was like, am I raping that? Can we say rape on the podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. That
I
works.
I think I have an explicit tag somewhere.
Yeah. I hope I'm not demolishing the name of that, but I thought it was good. It kind of had a dusty kind of profile. Like there's like a dustiness to the, as I smoked the cigar on my palate, but I didn't hate it. Like I kind of, for whatever reason, I was kind of like, well, that kind of makes it a little interesting. So now the second packet, I have no idea what's in it, but it's all smaller ring gauges. So we'll get to them tomorrow.
So
My goal
what are you
is to
smoking?
smoke them. Oh, I am smoking so this is the Cro-Magnon Pennsylvania. It's
Nice.
it's a test blend. So this is actually, from what Skip says, it's not the final. We smoked the final product, and then he just kind of brought several bundles of like what didn't make the cut, but also doesn't suck. It's like
Yeah.
I've gone through them, and I'm like, man, these are. So I may have told you this, Tyler, but since Dominic hasn't heard the story or any of the listeners, I'll go ahead and drop it. So Skip drops these on us. They're knuckle draggers, right? And I'm smoking it, and I'm like, I mean, it's very good. And I without even thinking, like Skip's sitting next to me, and I'm like, so is this gonna get any better? And he kind of looks at me like, and I'm like, no. I'm like, not because I don't like, I think it's really, really good. And I'm smoking one. I'm telling you, I kind of like it might be a little bit better than Cro-Magnon, right? And again, it's like you
Okay.
don't want to say that because it's like you've smoked it one time, you've only smoked it in a knuckle
Yeah.
dragger, but I'm like, dude, this thing is hitting on all cylinders. So I had to like clarify to Skip so he didn't like fire me. Like I like it. My question is like, is it going to get better by the time they ship? So it's like, because I already think it's fantastic. Like, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, they're only going to get better between now and when they ship. It's like, the other bundles, he's like, there was something missing out of them after they sat a while. And, if you look at some of the notes on all these segundos and Teslas, like I can't make heads or tails of it. Like, so, but he tweaked a few things in there, took out some stuff out of this, whatever. But, basically he said that the final blend after it aged and it was ready to kind of ship out to the public, like it still had what he was wanting. And that's kind of why it made the cut. But it is, so guys, I'm telling you, like this thing is gonna, as the kids say, it's gonna slap. It's gonna slap.
Yeah, I smoked the timeline in Nicaragua. That was really, really good. And then I smoked the knuckle dragger too. Yeah, and they're really good. I asked Skip because the it's a completely different cigar than the Cro-Magnon. Different, I'm pretty sure, yeah, different binder, and then it's got a different filler. So I asked him, like, did you try putting the Pennsylvania broadleaf on the Cro-Magnon blend and then smoke it? Like, it'd be cool to smoke them back, like, at the same time. And he said, no, he didn't try that. But I think that'd be a cool exercise to see, like, what the difference between Connecticut and Pennsylvania is. And I think that Pennsylvania's gotten so much better than what people like. It's kind of like Mexican San Andreas always was kind of like looked down upon. It's from Mexico, blah blah blah. People didn't, it's like, oh, you can't get broadleaf, so now you're using San Andreas. But now, as people got used to, or they've improved the processing and fermenting of the San Andreas has gotten really good. So I think I wonder if the same thing kind of happened with Pennsylvania. They kind of perfected maybe how to blend it or maybe how they process it, because like Black Label does a lot of good Pennsylvania broadleaf, and like the Jacob's Ladder is a good cigar. The Viso Horny's Pennsylvania broadleaf. So I'm interested to see if Skip would ever do that. Maybe next time I'm down there, I can have Alex roll take a wrapper off of a Cro-Magnon and throw a Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapper on it.
Yeah,
I think that's
I would be down with that little Pennsylvania broadleaf on top of a Cameroon. Yeah,
interesting.
why not?
All
Didn't
right, go on, Don.
didn't Nick Melillo have a lot to do with bringing San Andreas to some more people or to more
Yeah, no, he
factories?
did. He went there and worked with some of the farmers. The problem is you find a good farmer down in Mexico and you start buying their San Andreas. You show them how you want it processed, how you want it cured and fermented. And then what happens is you start working with them, and then the Turrents would come in and say, "Why are you selling to these guys? We'll buy it all," you know. And then it ends up like the Turrents kind of like
So we can make our
go,
Tejamos.
yeah, so they can make their Tejamos and their Casa Turrents, which they used to make a bunch of different sizes for the American market, but now I think they just went to one size. But um, yeah, Nick went down there and he worked with them, and it's hard to um, work with them down there.
Because
You
the
know,
apparently the Turrent mafia comes in and steals all your tobacco and leaves.
well, yeah, and well, it's like fuck. I don't know if I told the story before, but I knew a farmer and he was telling me a story about how he would sell eggs to all the local. I might have told this on the podcast. He would sell eggs to all the little
You
grocery
did.
stores. Okay, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So you had yeah. Anyway, so you guys heard the story. I'll tell Jason later, but it's a long story. But
Is this like one of those donkey shows, like in a tent somewhere, like in Tijuana?
maybe I've been to Tijuana once. All right, Jason, I
Yeah.
got a hard question for you today.
Okay,
So,
okay.
what is your day to day like working at RoMa Craft?
Um, it's it's different. Obviously I was a rep. So it was kind of I was on the road a few weeks a month. And kind of tried to do the 4 days out on the road, come back, recharge your batteries, um, you know, kind of that deal, kind of the Monday through Friday or the, Tuesday to Friday kind of thing. And this is more, it's kind of preparing. I'll be honest, like I'm still trying to kind of create a routine, right?
Mhm.
Because, this is the leash is a little bit longer here, and it's not, it's smaller, it's way more intimate. Um, so you kind of have to create your own routine. And I was so used to working under, a lot of structure, under Altadis. And this is completely different, right? So I'm still trying to figure out kind of make my own routine, right? So what I really
Mhm.
try to do is just try to prepare, go through some accounts that I'm going to call, see what I mean, because the guys, it's sales, right? The best thing is that with Roma, you're kind of in a better relationship wise, right? A lot of the people who have it in the store, they want it in the store, right?
Mhm.
And so I've met so far a lot of great people that I've never even met in real life yet, and hopefully I do soon. But I'm kind of getting off track here, but I was just kind of used to 8 years. I'd grown relationships in a 4-state territory, and I created this very structured, route that I stuck to and rotated around. I pretty much knew what hotel I was going to stay in, where I was going to get my coffee the next morning, where I'd probably eat dinner, and so on and so forth. And, you know, once you kind of dug into that, you kind of set yourself on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
But you've created all these relationships over the course of 8 years, and some of them have become like, my dearest friends. And now I'm with Roma, and you pretty much have the whole US, and you don't know anybody now, right? So it's
Yeah.
like you're having to go back to kind of square one and create these new relationships with and that's what Roma's about. Like Skip says, they created this brand with, you know, by building relationships and having, intimate conversations with, their retailers, and having advocates who believe in what we do behind the brand, like you guys, right? And what I was before I became, Jason, who worked for Altadis, which kind of blew everybody's mind because I was kind of Mr. Boutique. Ran my shop had a ton of boutiques in it, and then I was tired of making like $15 an hour, and having to have a roommate to pay my bills, and I was like, okay, I gotta step out and try to get a big boy job or whatever. I was calling it, and um, so yeah, I was kind of being picky, and working at a shop. It was the, Harris Saunders is the owner of Cigars and More in Birmingham. They have 5 locations. He was on the board of PAA, PCA, and if anybody was coming through, they were going to stop at Cigars and More, right? Because that was usually going to be their largest account, in the state, for whatever brand it was going to be, right? So, you start rubbing shoulders with some, division manager, not only reps, but then their
Yeah.
bosses, and then their bosses come in, and it's also kind of, I guess, in a way, it was kind of like not what I knew, but who I knew in a way, and I was kind of being, a little picky about who I didn't want to jump into something that, I saw a lot of guys who, I mean, I worked the shop a long time. You see the reps come in, and you see some of them kind of struggling, this, that, and the other, or they, or it, you just didn't really believe in the brand, so I just was kind of being a little picky. And then, yeah, the Altadis job came up, and I was like, well, they're a solid gig. They went through like 3 reps in 4 years or something like that. Like, it was a mess. I was like, there's no way. I mean, surely I can do better. This is a good opportunity to shine, right? So it's like, yeah. So I ended up getting the job with Altadis, and everybody was like, "What?" I was like, "Look, man, good gig, right? It's like, I know it's not kind of what I'm really pushing here, but I kind of wanted to get with somebody who had some, like, oh, these guys aren't going anywhere, this, that, and the other. You kind of look at those things, but I don't regret it. I don't regret my time at Altadis. I met a lot of great people, and I still love a lot of people, at the, corporate level down in Fort Lauderdale, things like that. I've met some, really good friends there, but man, it's kind of, I was a big Roma shop. We were one of the first accounts in the US. I brought them in first year at PCA, and we kind of really started. We were kind of one of their first kind of accounts that was really kind of banging it out, right? And so that's kind of how I got a little closer to Mike and Skip, and we kind of built the relationship from there. But I'm kind of rambling now, so I apologize. But that,
No.
it's
Hey, Tyler
it's
rambles all the time, so it's a change for me.
that's the point. The point I was making is, it this feels kind of like more than changing companies. It feels like more like coming home in a way. It's I've known these guys a long time, and I love what they do, and I believe in the product, and because I know the amount of work that goes into it. Um, and Skip's such a perfectionist, man, on every level. Ask Tyler. Um, and he's not going to put it out, man, if he doesn't believe in it. He's not going to skimp. Um, just some of the things that he tells you, he's like talking about going through binders because there are some that have ripples in them, and he thought that was going to create inconsistencies in the cigars. So they sort wrapper for like 2 weeks, not wrapper, binders. It's like nobody else is doing that, but Skip, Skip is, like I said, he's a perfectionist, man. And like sometimes like you scratch your head and you're like, man, this, that, and the other. But it's like, in his head, everything has to be in place and perfect for the machine to turn smoothly. So, I gotta tip my cap to him, man. He's a gringo that had his own cigar shop, who went down to Nicaragua and built a cigar factory and is putting out literally some of the best cigars in the world. And if we're talking about what you pay for what you get, arguably the best cigars in the world, So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I feel like I've rambled on long enough now.
Cool. Well, whenever you're making your calls to the customers of Roma, hopefully someday, if you are talking the West Coast, you'll talk to the shop that I work at. I'm hearing January will bring RoMa Craft.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
But I'm out for, I said 6 weeks with a question mark, because I have no clue starting a family, what it's gonna be like, if or when I'm coming back.
Well, yeah, it makes sense for Aloni to wait until you get back, because you have you and Triple B. You'll be the what do they call it in the shop? The Jason, help me. What are they, like, the
Thing one and
ambassador
thing
for
two.
Yeah, the advocate, like the row
advocate? Yeah,
advocate.
like Tron and Josh are at Lake Country, like Brandon is at Michael's. Like,
I like to think of myself as a Roma ally.
Yeah,
I like it. I'll take it, man. I'll take him anywhere I can get him, man. Without guys like you, who are kind of Roma's small. Let's face it. And the cigar industry is kind of like that. It's like such a small industry, but at the same time, it's like such a big industry. It touches every corner, but at its kind of core, it's like it's basically coming from a few different places in the world, right?
yeah.
So, without, it's four of us essentially, and then Tyler is kind of part of that, in a way as well, even though he's not like employed by Roma, he's kind of like, it's family, La Familia. So, so, it's me, Mike, Skip, Sean, right? And then all you guys, you guys who are basically also believe in the stuff and love it, right? You guys are a big part of it.
What?
You're a massive part of the brand and bringing awareness to it. And it's what makes Roma special. It's what I mean, there's not a whole lot of brands that can build that underneath it, right?
Yeah.
Very
Was it
There's
few.
only a few of them.
Was it Shane
Yeah.
who posted he designed was it a fire pit cover with
Mhm.
the Roma logo?
Dude, I saw that fire pit cover. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, I bet he probably had about 20 DMs asking about it. But yeah, like the thing with Roma too is the engagement is Mike and Skip and then well, Mike and Skip, they're very um well, not approachable is not the right. They're
Accessible.
yeah, they're accessible. Like I remember like even when I was working at Lake Country and it was during COVID, like Mike would just randomly like FaceTime me, hey, how's the shop going? You stay in, back in the like 2020 when it was really going down and shops were closing. He's like, how are you guys doing? You guys doing all right? Do we need anything? And it's just stuff like that. Or it's like even how like they used to throw the parties in Vegas. That's how me and Dom, we met at a RoMa Craft party in 2017 or 2018. I forgot what year, but it's
Oh,
and then, yeah. And then like, you can ask Skip my questions and they'll answer it, So it's, that's a big part of it. And it's funny because I grew to like Roma. I used to go to other shops to buy Roma Craft, and then I didn't even know the guys, but I would see it on Instagram, and I smoked them. Like, this shit's really good, And then I got to know the guys. I'm like, oh, it's awesome that the people who own the company are actually great dudes too. It's not, because they always say, be careful to meet your idols or whatever, because you might
yeah,
not like them. So
yeah,
I'm glad that I like the cigars and the guys were cool.
yeah. I 100% agree. That's kind of what gravitated me to. So I got introduced to the brands through cigar passes, on some cigar forums before it was even a brand. Where the stuff was coming out of Have a Cigar. When Skip had his old online site. So I kind of was introduced to this stuff through the pass. They're kind of the original Cro-Magnons, right? That were probably stronger than they are now, but I can understand completely why, you know, it was kind of tweaked, right? At the same time, it was kind of a really strong version
Well,
of what
back
was.
then there weren't a ton of strong cigars coming out. So
Yeah,
now there's a ton of strong stuff coming out. So for the time though, it was it was up there with LFD, Triple Hero, and all that.
yeah, yeah. So, but um, so I brought the brand in, right? Because it was like top of the list of like, things I wanted to bring in that year. The only thing I didn't bring in that I wanted to bring in that year was Curavari. So
Mm,
we never ended up bringing it in. I still like their stuff though.
yeah.
Um, but the thing is Mike and Skip were so transparent about everything to me, and taught me so much about, just the cigar industry and, you know, just things about retail, 'cause Skip had a shop. And um, in a way, I use this kind of example not too long ago with somebody else. It's kind of was like, they kind of pull away the curtain, right? And, there's the wizard, the Wizard of Oz, like kind of pulling all the levers and things like that. But it, my Siri just popped up. Can you guys hear that?
I did, yeah. I thought Tyler was just listening to something while you were talking. I just made that assumption.
No, I like the Siri on my laptop just pulled up me talking about the Wizard of Oz, and it just started
No.
Wikipediaing it off, out loud. So that was kind of weird. Um, no, but like they were just super transparent, and they taught me a ton. And I wasn't getting that from any other cigar company, right? And they were just super open about everything and how they did this and how they did that. And, you know, and that's really kind of what made me kind of, really become a, yeah, there wasn't even a weasel group back then, it was like, but, that's kind of what got me into the stuff. And then just them being so accessible, right? Yeah, it was different. You could tell it was different. It felt different. The cigars were different. And it kind of grew into what it is now. And it's just cool to kind of see what it was. Mike used to sleep on my couch, guys. Like when he was coming through, he was like, "Yo, man, what's up?" I'm coming through. I'm like, "Hey, man, you can stay on my couch, so you don't have to buy a room." And he would, because they were just trying to get the brand off the track.
Is that when
And
you had a roommate or no?
no, I didn't have one then.
Was that back when Mike was fat?
Yes, yeah, he was fat Mike then. Yeah, I don't bring that up.
Face.
He looks great.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's cool to see. It's cool to see it, what it was to what it is now, and to see, the guys who really love it. To see how many of those guys are out there. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
So you picked a good time to move down here because everybody's flocking back to California. But I just saw a report that rent's going down here because everybody's moving out. So that's good. So how stressful was it when you moved down here? Was it finding a place? Was it hard? 'Cause it was hard for me.
Yeah, it was
really hard.
It wasn't as much hard as it was the amount of time that I had to do it in. And so I kind of flew in a couple times for like some, Friday through kind of Sunday night type of deals to kind of get a feel for Austin. And then I was here for like, so Mike drove me around to look at some apartments, and yeah, they were fucking shit. Like I was like, dude, like I can't live here, man. I'm not that bougie, but these things are fucking awful, bro. Like, so then I basically I came out for another week that I was not supposed to be out here, right? Because we had a start date set up. But then Mike had to go to Europe, right? And then he forgot that Sean had to go do some things up in Maryland where he's from. So it was just going to be like Jamie here, because Skip was in Nicaragua. So he's like, "Yo, like, bro, like, I'm going to need you to be in Austin this week." I'm like when? He's like, I need you to get on the plane tomorrow. So I packed up everything and got up at 4:30 in the morning to catch a 6 o'clock flight, to Austin. And spent, basically Monday through Friday here. And I went to find my apartment I went and looked at it through Thursday, and Friday, the morning before I flew out, I signed a lease on an apartment. So I was cutting it close.
Nice.
I thought I was going to have to live at Skip's for like, another several weeks, but which I didn't want to do just because it's like, it just seems like it didn't suck. Like Skip's pad, like, you can work everything with your phone. It's all like super nice. And, I'm driving around his Raptor, which also doesn't suck, but at the same time, it's like, man, it's only a matter of time before like something happens or whatever. And I don't, that's not the foot I want to start off with.
I just got a text message. Oh, go on.
You have to be okay with a kink in your neck sitting watching TV every night just turn because of that bench doesn't. I guess you could just pull out the bench, but
That's what I should do.
I always hurt my neck. I say always. I've
Oh.
only been there twice.
I got a text from BDP. He's like, "You scooped our interview."
Tell him who's BDP. Sorry, Cigar Hustler is not a sponsor, by the way.
Yeah. BDP, he's funny.
No, it was stressful though. So guys, I'm not going to go too far into it, but let me just say that I had the bright idea of that I was going to drive myself here, right? And just call movers to pack the U-Haul. And then the same company in Austin, but different set of guys, obviously, unpack it and put it in the apartment. So there were some issues with the movers in Birmingham, right? So I didn't get out of there until 8:45 p.m. All right.
Damn.
I was supposed to get out of there at like 4. So they were a little late, this, that, and the other, yada, yada. But anyway, so I'm just at 8:45, I started heading toward Austin. And I'm like, I'm just going to drive as far as I can. And then, I'll get a room somewhere. Right.
You made it to about 10 o'clock.
Dude, I drove the whole thing. I drove
did that
from
too.
8:45 at 9:30 in the morning. I got into Austin. And it was, but I just kind of was like, you get to Meridian, Mississippi. I still feel pretty good, and you get down to, Monroe, you're like, I still feel pretty good. And you get to Shreveport, you're like, whatever. And by the time you get to Waco, you're like, fuck it, we're riding this thing on out, right?
Yeah.
What was cool though is as I was coming through, I'm still not super crazy familiar with Texas, right? So it was either right before you get to Waco or right after you go through Wake. They have that big wind farm out there with like, hundreds and hundreds of those big, and the sun was coming up, right? And then I've never seen one of those things in my entire life, right? So you come out and it's super flat, and the sun's coming up and there's like hundreds of those, like, are they windmills, guys? Help me out here. They're like, what do you call them? I'm going to call them
those are windmills.
Sounds right.
And I was like, man, this is like made the whole trip worth it. It was like coming through at that time. It was like the coolest thing. So, yeah.
All right, we can.
But I drove the whole thing. I'll never do it again, by the way.
Yeah, I drove straight through and then I slept for about 12 hours. It was a 15-hour drive down here. It sucked.
Man.
But we can wrap. I think Skip just got in, so we can wrap it up if you gotta talk to him and stuff. But Dom, you have any more questions or?
Last question, and Tyler, I'm gonna start with you, and then Jason, you're next. You have to answer in less than a second.
Okay.
All right, ready? Tyler, name a woman.
Alyssa.
Okay, Jason, go.
Alyssa Milano.
Oh, that's whatever.
Chastity.
I was it part of my take a while ago. Someone said that, and the first woman that popped in my head was Martha Stewart. So I just wanted to see if anyone else, like, if that's a common thing, people just think Martha Stewart.
I mean, icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife looked at me funny.
Shout out to Alyssa. She likes to listen, and she likes when I mention her. So
shout out
to her.
Martha Stewart, Betty Crocker, Little Debbie,
Alyssa Milano.
So real quick, so basically, Dom, you're maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks, you're having a kid.
Deborah's on leave. She's been on leave this whole week. I go on leave in like a week and a day.
Oh, you're not off or staggering them?
My leave can't start until the due date, which is the 19th.
Okay. Oh, because at my job, you pick within the first 6 months when you want to take your 12 weeks.
well, so we're doing 12 weeks from the get-go, and I don't know if I can take bonding time after that. The
Okay.
plan is she is, but I'll have a good amount of time to figure out how to change diapers.
All right. And like we were talking before, it hasn't really hit you yet because you've been so busy trying to get prepared, right?
Yeah, so I'm writing high school recommendations as soon as possible. They're all due in February, but I'm going to be on leave, so I'm just trying to punch them out.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to get some in, but we don't know with Dom's schedule, but we should be able. I'm not on my PM shift, so maybe we'll get oh, Dom's going, so it's a good time to end it. Jason, thank you so much. Dom,
Hey,
I'll
thank
talk to
you, guys.
later.
Rock and roll.
Hey, Dom. Hey,
Yo.
man. Best of luck with the baby. Okay, man.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. I'll
All right, take care, guys.
got his socks in a little RoMa box right now.
Yeah, I'll
It's a little
send you
storage
like a
container.
little like have a baby cigar or something like that. You know?
No Alec Bradley, please.
That's what you call it in California, right? Have a baby. You can't say like, you know, it's a girl or it's a boy. You just say it's a
Oh my
baby now.
goodness. I don't know
Oh,
what
here we go.
the deal is. First
They,
first
them.
smoke is going to be the Adrian though that Mike gave me.
Oh, I haven't had mine yet. That's a cool smoke to
That's
have.
going to be first son is born. I'm going to light that up.
He won't tell anybody the name yet.
That's a cigar that's probably going to taste like dust. It's so old. Anyway,
Dust, how dare you?
thanks thanks Jason for being on.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thank you guys.
Rock and roll.
Yeah!